All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. And of course, Pig and a Pickle, two locations, the best barbecue in Northern California. They're in Corte Madera, open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they're also in Emeryville, inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. And they're open in Emeryville Wednesday through Sunday. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. All right, let's talk a little bit about a story that is out. The 49ers, according to Aaron Wilson of KPRC 2, Channel 2 in Houston, they reported on Tuesday evening that the 49ers held a private workout with UCLA quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson, better known as DTR. And a lot of people think DTR is going to go on day 3 of the draft. Of course, the Niners right now have Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and Sam Darnold as their quarterbacks. And here they're now looking at DTR, and they have already had one meeting, I guess, with DTR. He was one of the highest recruits coming out of high school. And then he goes to UCLA and has had a stellar career. I mean, he really has. He weighed in at under 205 pounds at the combine. So there is a chance that he'll go drafted late on day 3. I would say he probably going to be a 6th-round pick, maybe a 7th-round pick. Really good football player, though, if you watch him at UCLA. And there's a lot to like. He went to Bishop Gorman High School in Vegas and was a great player there. And then, comes to UCLA. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He was an ESPN 4-star recruit. Just a really, really solid player, played in the Under Armour All-American game, then goes to UCLA, plays in 2018 in 10 games. Then 2019, he saw action as a starter in 11 games. Then 2020, his 3rd year, he saw action and started 5 games. 2021, he started 11 games. And then he played again in 2022, and he started 13 games. So that was his 6th season. And he finished the season 6th in the nation. I should say 5th season. That finished the season 6th in the nation in completion percentage. So he completed 70% of his passes, and that was a UCLA school record. And there were a lot of games where DTR this year was just absolutely money. He had 6 games where he completed over 70% of his passes. He also is a very good runner. He ran for at least 50 yards in 7 games. He ran for multiple touchdowns in 4 of those games, including an afternoon against the Cal Bears. He threw for multiple touchdowns in 9 different games this year. So he was ranked 5th nationally in points responsible with 238. He's just a really, really athletic, smart player. Davey O'Brien Award semifinalist, honorable mention All Pac-12, voted on by the league coaches. And just a guy who's played a lot of football, really athletic, and a guy who's I think a really good quarterback prospect as a developmental player. I mean, the one thing I think that it's one of the reasons that Brock Purdy has had a lot of success is that he played a lot in college, and so he's been in a lot of different situations. And he's really developed by playing all those games. And I think you can say the exact same thing about DTR. There were times where he was the best player on the field in many of those games that I saw. So he's not the biggest guy. I mean, you're talking about 6'2", but 205 or 6'1", 6'2", roughly 205 pounds. He's not the biggest bodied guy, but he's very quick. But he keeps his eyes downfield. And, he's really a nice quarterback as far as he's got experience. He's got athleticism. You're probably going to get him late in day 3. And if you're the 49ers, he might be just, that quarterback that you can put on the practice squad and develop. And that's really what I would see as his role with the 49ers. I don't see him beating out Brock Purdy or Trey Lance or Sam Darnold even, for that matter. But I think DTR definitely long range could have a very good NFL future. The combination of the smarts, the poise, the experience, the athleticism, the second level escapability, he's a playmaker. There were several games where it was just he was locked in, and it was like you had a hard time stopping the Bruins offense. The Bruins offense this year under Chip Kelly and DTR was electric. I mean, they really, really were a hard team to stop. I mean, that he had weapons. Wasn't like he didn't have help. He had a decent line in front of him. He had some good receivers. He had a good back. But still, DTR made a number of big plays, and just he plays with a lot of poise. He's got a lot of speed. There's no question if he can make plays from the pocket, but he can also get outside the pocket and make plays off script. And that's kind of what separates him. Also, I just think when you look at the experience factor, this guy has seen every kind of coverage. He's watched film for a number of years. He's seen defenses make adjustments to him. He's found a way to adjust back. And I just think that he's a player that, as far as where do you think he'll wind up as far as the quarterbacks go? Well, obviously there's the group up front, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, Hendon Hooker. I think all five of those guys could wind up going in the first round. Tanner McKee, because he's 6'6" and 230, probably goes in round 2. Jake Haener and Jaron Hall probably go in round 3 or 4. And then everybody else, I think, is going to be a day 3 pick for sure. And that would be Dorian Thompson Robinson. I would say 5th round, but you might be able to get him around earlier or later. Clayton Tune, Aiden O'Connell, Max Duggan, Stetson Bennett, Malik Cunningham, Tyson Bagent. I think that's, those quarterbacks will all be day 2 picks. And I think people are really going to like what they see when they see DTR in the pros, because he plays with a lot of poise. He's got good tempo. You're talking about a guy who understands what he's seeing pre-snap. He's very, very athletic, and he's got the ability to kind of make plays outside of structure and get outside and run and create on another level if he gets pushed out of the pocket. So there's a lot to like. He's played a lot of football, and that's the one thing. He came out of a really good program in high school, and then he got an opportunity to play a lot of football and to develop, especially this last year under Chip Kelly. And I just think this is going to be a player that's going to step into the NFL. He's going to be afforded the luxury of, probably a full year to kind of just learn a system. And I think next summer you're going to see him really make waves in the NFL as a quarterback who plays well in the preseason for whatever team he's with. And hopefully that team will be the 49ers. But it is interesting they're looking at him. That would give them 4 quarterbacks. Kyle Shanahan has suggested that they may only take 2. So what does that mean for the other guys? We shall see. But definitely very interesting that the 49ers taking a second look at DTR. All right, hope you enjoyed the 49er draft video. We'll have a lot of draft coverage leading into next week's NFL draft. And, of course, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being proud sponsor of The Krug Show on YouTube.